The woods were their haven, a sanctuary where time seemed to stand still. The air was always fresh, filled with the scent of pine and earth, and the gentle rustling of leaves created a symphony of nature. Lily, Max, and Sam knew every path, every hidden nook, and every secret spot. They had spent countless hours exploring, their laughter echoing through the trees. The ancient trees watched over them, their thick trunks standing as silent sentinels. These trees had seen generations come and go, their roots intertwined with the history of the land. Sunlight dappled the forest floor, creating a mosaic of light and shadow. It was a magical sight, as if the forest itself was alive and breathing. Birds sang in the rustling leaves, their melodies blending with the whispers of the wind. The forest was a symphony of life, each sound adding to the harmony. This was Heartwood, old and magical, a place where the ordinary became extraordinary. Every corner of this forest held a story, every tree a witness to the passage of time.
Lily loved climbing the giant oak, her favourite tree. She felt a sense of freedom and exhilaration as she scaled its massive trunk, her hands and feet finding familiar holds. From its heights, the village looked tiny, like a miniature world. She could see the rooftops of houses, the winding roads, and the distant fields, all from her lofty perch.
Max, the inventor, built forts in the willow's drooping branches. He loved creating secret hideouts, places where they could retreat and let their imaginations run wild.
Sam, the quiet observer, drew the animals in his notebook. He had a keen eye for detail, capturing the essence of the creatures that called Heartwood home. Heartwood held their dreams, a place where their imaginations could soar.
One afternoon, a strange sound pierced the peace, shattering the tranquility they had always known. It was an unfamiliar noise, something that didn't belong in their beloved forest. A grinding, mechanical groan echoed between the trees, a sound so foreign and jarring that it sent shivers down their spines. It was the sound of something unnatural, something that threatened their sanctuary.
Fear tightened their throats, their hearts pounding in their chests. They had never felt such a sense of dread in their forest before. What if something threatened their sanctuary? What if the peace and magic of Heartwood were at risk? They couldn't bear the thought of losing their haven.
They crept through the undergrowth, their movements slow and cautious. Every step was deliberate, their senses heightened as they moved closer to the source of the noise. There, in a clearing, stood a monstrous machine, its metal arms tearing into the earth. It was a sight that filled them with a mix of awe and horror, a stark contrast to the natural beauty of Heartwood. Men in hard hats were shouting. They were marking trees with bright paint, loggers.
Lily, Max, and Sam felt sick. These men planned to destroy Heartwood.
Anger bubbled inside them. This was their home, their refuge.
They wouldn't let it be destroyed without a fight. Back in their secret clearing, they made a pact. They would be the protectors of Heartwood, the forest guardians they called themselves, a name whispered on the wind.
They had to warn the villagers. They had to save their beloved forest.
They started by telling their families. The children, with their bright eyes and hopeful hearts, gathered around their parents, eager to share their newfound mission. They spoke with a sense of urgency, their voices filled with passion and determination. At first, the adults didn't understand. They listened, puzzled, as their children spoke of things that seemed far removed from their everyday lives. The parents exchanged glances, unsure of how to respond to the fervor in their children's voices. They spoke of progress and jobs, but the children persisted. They explained how the future of their community depended on the choices they made today. They talked about the importance of sustainable development and how it could bring long-term benefits to everyone. They spoke of the animals, the clean air, the beauty of Heartwood. The children painted vivid pictures of the lush forests, the clear streams, and the diverse wildlife that called Heartwood home. They described how preserving this natural beauty was essential for their well-being and the well-being of future generations. Slowly, minds began to change. The parents started to see the wisdom in their children's words. They began to understand that the children's vision for Heartwood was not just a dream, but a viable path forward. The seeds of change were planted, and they began to take root.
Their first victory was small but significant. The children celebrated this milestone with joy and pride. It was a testament to their perseverance and the power of their collective voice. Old Mrs. Willowbrook, famous for her delicious pies, became their ally. She had always been a beloved figure in the community, and her support meant a great deal to the children. Agreed to sell them at the village market. Her pies, already a favorite among the villagers, now carried a new significance. They were not just a treat, but a symbol of the community's commitment to a better future. The proceeds would go towards saving Heartwood. Every pie sold was a step closer to preserving the natural beauty of their home. The children felt a sense of accomplishment, knowing that their efforts were making a tangible difference.
The children decorated her stall with leaves. They carefully selected the most vibrant and beautiful leaves, creating a display that reflected the splendor of Heartwood, and hand-drawn pictures of forest animals. Each drawing was a labor of love, capturing the essence of the creatures they were striving to protect. People stopped to admire their work. The stall became a focal point of the market, drawing in curious onlookers who were moved by the children's dedication and creativity.
They stood proudly behind the stall, talking to customers. The children shared their vision with everyone who stopped by, explaining how each purchase contributed to their cause. Their enthusiasm was infectious, and soon, the entire community was rallying behind them.
Encouraged, the Forest Guardians decided to write a letter. It went to the mayor, the most important person in the village. They wrote about their love for Heartwood. They wrote about the animals and the trees. They wrote about the future. It was their most heartfelt plea.
The mayor invited them to his office. He listened patiently as they spoke. He promised to consider their concerns, but he also spoke of the need for jobs, for progress.
The children left feeling disheartened. The fight to save Heartwood was far from over. Undeterred, the Forest Guardians decided to organize a festival. They called it the Festival of the Trees. They wanted to remind everyone of the beauty and importance of Heartwood.
We spent weeks planning, making decorations, and rehearsing our songs.
The day of the festival dawned bright and clear. The villagers gathered in the village square, curious to see what we had planned.
The Forest Guardians, dressed in green and brown, sang songs about the forest. They told stories about the animals. They even acted out a play about the importance of trees. The festival was a resounding success. It brought the village together. People who had never even thought about the forest before were moved by the children's passion.
They realized that Heartwood was precious and worth fighting for.
The village elder, a wise old woman named Agnes, approached us after the festival. She had lived in the village her entire life and had seen many changes.
She told them that she was proud of them for standing up for what they believed in. Emboldened by the village's support, the Forest Guardians decided to take their protest to the loggers. They marched to the edge of Heartwood, their numbers swelled by their families and neighbors.
We stood before the logging machines, a small but determined force.
The foreman of the loggers, a burly man with a gruff voice, ordered us to leave, but we stood our ground.
They told him about the animals, the trees, the water. They told him that Heartwood was not just a collection of trees, but a living, breathing ecosystem. Their protest, small though it was, did not go unnoticed. In a remote village, far from the bustling cities, a small group of villagers gathered to voice their concerns. They were fighting for something much larger than themselves, the preservation of their beloved Heartwood forest. The air was filled with a sense of urgency and determination as they held up their handmade signs, each one a testament to their love for the land.
A young journalist from the city who had come to the village to visit her grandmother stumbled upon the protest. She was a fresh face in the world of journalism, eager to make a mark. The serene countryside was a stark contrast to the urban chaos she was used to, but the passion of the villagers drew her in. Visiting her grandmother in the village, she witnessed the standoff. The sight of the villagers, especially the children, standing up against the looming threat of deforestation moved her deeply. She saw in their eyes a fierce determination, a refusal to back down despite the odds.
She was impressed by the children's courage and determination. These young souls, who should have been carefree and playing, were instead standing on the front lines, defending their home. Their bravery was a powerful statement, one that resonated with her deeply.
She knew this was a story that needed to be told. With her notepad in hand, she began to document their struggle, capturing their voices and their stories. She interviewed the children, the villagers, and anyone who had a stake in the fight to save Heartwood.
Her article about the Forest Guardians and their fight to save Heartwood was published in the city newspaper. The story of these brave villagers and their unwavering stand against deforestation struck a chord with many. It was a tale of resilience, of ordinary people standing up for what they believed in.
It quickly went viral, spreading like wildfire across social media platforms. People from all walks of life shared the story, moved by the villagers' plight and inspired by their courage. Shared by people all over the country, the story of the Heartwood Forest protest became a symbol of hope and resistance. It was a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, a small group of determined individuals could make a difference.
The children became a symbol of hope, their actions a beacon of light in a world often overshadowed by environmental destruction. They showed that even the youngest amongst us could stand up and be heard, a reminder that even the youngest amongst us can make a difference. Their story inspired many to take action, to stand up for their own communities and the environment. The world was indeed watching, and the message was clear. Together, we can protect our planet for future generations.
The story caught the attention of environmental activists and organizations across the country.
They reached out to the village, offering support and guidance.
Lawyers offered their services pro bono, challenging the legality of the logging permits.
Scientists conducted studies highlighting the ecological importance of heartwood.
The pressure on the logging company and the local government was immense.
Faced with mounting public scrutiny and legal challenges, they had no choice but to back down.
The logging permits were revoked.
Heartwood was saved.
The victory of the Forest Guardians was a testament to the power of courage, determination, and collective action.
It showed that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds, change is possible when people come together for a common cause.
The children of the village, inspired by the Forest Guardians, continued to be stewards of their natural heritage.
They organized regular cleanup drives, planted new trees, and educated others about the importance of conservation.
Heartwood, once threatened, began to heal and thrive. The fight to protect Heartwood had brought the community closer.
It had taught them valuable lessons about the interconnectedness of all living things, the importance of respecting nature, and the power of raising their voices for what they believed in.
As the years passed, the legend of the Forest Guardians was passed down through generations.
They became a symbol of hope and inspiration, a reminder that even the smallest among us can make a difference in the fight to protect our planet.